Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into something we all do every single day, but probably don't think much about: waiting.
You've probably heard quotes like this one, right? The idea that waiting is just this test of your patience. It's that moment that supposedly shows who we really are when we can't do anything about our situation.
But what if it's way more than that? What if waiting is actually a powerful, hidden engine driving everything from our private anxieties to our collective hopes? Today, we're going to explore a completely new way to think about waiting. And trust me, it's a total game changer.
Okay, so let's get right into it. First things first, we need to completely redefine what we even mean by waiting, because it's a lot more than just standing at a bus stop. So there's this really interesting model called Brain Kinematics, or BKM for short, and it says waiting isn't just empty time. No, it's the feeling you get when you're holding on to some kind of unresolved strain, a goal, a fear, a desire. It's literally the duration of an imbalance in your system.
And this is the key. Your brain is not just sitting there idling. When you're waiting for test results, for a loved one to return, or for justice, your brain is actively, dynamically working overtime to manage and contain this unresolved tension.
So what does this unresolved strain actually feel like? I mean, what's really happening in our brains when we're stuck in that holding pattern?
Well, normally, your brain goes through this neat little cycle. You get an idea, that's activation. The tension builds as you work on it, it hits a peak, and then, boom, you solve it. The tension is discharged, and everything goes back to a nice, stable baseline.
But with waiting, that whole arc gets stuck. It's like pulling back a rubber band, but you never get to let it go. The goal is active, the strain is there, but the path to resolution is blocked. Your brain is just left holding all that potential energy.
And here's the thing, that unresolved tension doesn't just fade away. These incomplete arcs start to stack on top of each other. You know, a setback on day 3 reactivates the stress from day 1, and your whole baseline level of anxiety gets higher and higher. You never get to reset back to 0.
And this is how we experience it. Those emotional waves we feel, the anxiety, the dread, even those flickers of frustrated hope or excitement, they aren't random. That's literally the feeling of your brain trying over and over again to complete that unresolved arc and failing.
Right, so if you've got all this pent-up energy buzzing around your system and you can't actually do anything about it in the real world, where on earth does it go? Well, it definitely doesn't just sit still. Think of it like a ripple in a pond. Let's say you're waiting for some kind of justice. That initial strain might start in your brain's fear center, but then it ripples out, activating your anger center, and then maybe it spreads to the part that holds your core identity. It can literally change how you see yourself and the world.
And this is where things get really fascinating. According to this model, dreams are like a pressure release valve. While you're asleep, your brain loosens up the rigid connections it holds during the day. This allows it to symbolically move that emotional load around, rebalancing the system so no one part gets completely fried. And that explains perfectly why these dream themes are so incredibly common when we're dealing with long-term uncertainty. Dreaming that you're searching for something, or you're stuck and can't move, or you keep missing a train. It's not just random nonsense. It's your brain's nightly theater acting out the very real feeling of being stuck in limbo.
Okay, so that's what happens inside one person's head. But what happens when you zoom way out? How does this same process build into something much bigger? It turns out the exact same architecture is at play across an entire society. The triggers are different, of course, personal grief versus national decline, but that underlying dynamic of holding unresolved tension is exactly the same.
Now, when that kind of strain is shared by millions of people, and it goes on for a long time, something remarkable starts to happen. The system has to find a way to organize all that chaos.
Because without a focal point, all those individual loops of fear and frustration can just lead to despair and social breakdown. There's a powerful need for a shared direction.
And so what a culture often does is create a powerful image of hope, a savior, a returning king, a revolutionary leader. This figure acts like a giant magnet, pulling all that chaotic, unresolved strain and giving it a common direction. It makes the wait meaningful.
And get this, it's not just a mechanism for the oppressed. Powerful societies do it too, but they just reframe the waiting. Instead of waiting for rescue from suffering, they're waiting for a figure to renew their threatened order. Or they transform the strain into a belief in a sacred mission they have to fulfill.
This amazing parallel structure, from a single person's dream all the way to a nation's myth, gives us this incredibly powerful new tool for understanding human behavior at any scale. The BKM strain weighting matrix lays it all out so clearly. It shows how the same basic variables, the initial trigger, the level of helplessness, the kind of hope image you latch onto, and the delay, shape the experience of waiting. It doesn't matter if it's one person, a small group, or an entire civilization over generations. The structure is the same.
You can actually boil this whole complex idea down to one really elegant expression. The intensity of the waiting you feel is basically a function of the size of the problem, your inability to act, how often you're reminded of it, and how long it lasts, all divided by your capacity to actually resolve it.
So the crucial takeaway here is this. By understanding the deep structure of waiting, we get a whole new lens. We can see it not as empty time, but as the active, strain-filled space where our deepest anxieties are processed, our most powerful myths are born, and the future is shaped. It forces us to ask a really important question. What are we, as individuals and as a society, waiting for right now?